Hey guys, tonight we're going to slow things down and sit with a story that matters. This is the story of a woman whose love ran deeper than bloodlines and of a child who recognized truth before the world did. It's not about titles, it's not about image, it's about presence. And what happens when the world pretends not to notice until it can't anymore. Before we begin, please like the video and subscribe, but only if stories like this truly move you. Comment your city and the time you're watching. Now close your eyes or don't, it's your choice. Either way, you're about to witness something real. The Prescott estate rises like a silent cathedral on the edge of a Connecticut hillside, all pale stone and glass, every detail meticulously designed to impress. Inside, everything gleams: the marble floors, the brass door handles, even the fresh-cut orchids flown in weekly to match the season's palette. But the brightest thing in that house isn't visible to guests. It's tucked into a nursery room on the second floor, in the small, mischievous smile of a 4-year-old boy named Henry. And the only person who can coax that smile into bloom is Vanessa Brooks. Vanessa is in her mid-30s, slender, soft-spoken, with rich brown skin and a quiet grace that makes her presence feel like a gentle hush in a world that rarely stops to listen. She doesn't walk with authority, but with certainty, the kind that comes from having nothing to prove and everything to protect. She arrives each morning through the service entrance, same gray cardigan, same tote bag on her shoulder filled with small snacks and secondhand picture books. She changes into the uniform. Olivia Prescott insists on neutral tones, only no jewelry, and certainly nothing that might distract from the home's aesthetic. Then she climbs the curved staircase that leads to Henry's wing, her footsteps barely audible on the plush runner. No one welcomes her. There's no nod from the estate manager, no morning coffee in the kitchen, no framed photograph acknowledging her 4 years of service. But Vanessa isn't here for recognition. She's here for Henry. And Henry, despite being born into a world of private chefs and curated playdates, is always waiting for her. Not just with open arms, but with the deep instinctual relief only a child can feel when someone who truly sees them enters the room. She hums softly as she tidies his dresser, adjusting the corner of his Spider-Man blanket just the way he likes it. "Is today a cape day or a socks day?" she asks, crouching to meet his eyes. He considers, then grins. "Cape. Definitely cape." She fastens the red cloth around his shoulders. No one else in the house knows he has nightmares about flying too high. No one else knows that the cape helps him feel safe. Only Vanessa does. Downstairs, Olivia Prescott prepares for her day with a team: stylists, assistants, and a voice coach to help her prep for her upcoming charity brunch. She's mid-40s, statuesque, always camera-ready, with a voice that stays perfectly neutral, cool, polished, and clean. She refers to Henry as the little one and Vanessa as the help, though never to their faces. Her priorities orbit public perception, how the family looks in the journal, whether the preschool director follows her on social media, which lighting setup makes the chandeliers sparkle best for evening events. Love is not absent, but it is conditional, measured in appointments, milestones, curated memories. Olivia prides herself on running a perfect home, and in her eyes, Vanessa is part of that machinery: quiet, capable, and replaceable. At staff meetings, Olivia speaks with forced warmth. "Vanessa's doing a fine job," she once told the housekeeper, "but no bright colors, please. It pulls attention in photos." And so Vanessa quietly donated her favorite teal blouse. No one saw her do it. No one knew that blouse once belonged to her mother, the only thing she had left from the woman who raised her through every storm. Vanessa doesn't complain. She adjusts. Always. Because she understands the unspoken rule in homes like this one: be invisible or be removed. But Henry doesn't follow those rules. When he scrapes his knee, he runs past the security guards, past the house chef, and straight into Vanessa's arms. He presses his face into her chest and whispers, "Sing it, please," and she hums that same lullaby. 3 soft notes repeated, always finishing with a kiss on the crown of his head. He never asked for anyone else. Sometimes Vanessa catches Olivia watching from the second-floor landing, watching the way Henry clings to her, the way his little hand fits perfectly into hers. There's no confrontation, no open judgment, just the tightening of Olivia's jaw, the flicker in her eyes like a calculation being made. But Vanessa never oversteps. She never posts photos, never uses the main kitchen, never lingers. Her love is real, and because of that, it stays quiet, hidden. But not everything stays buried forever. The night of the Prescott Foundation's annual gala arrives like a tidal wave of crystal and silk. The estate is transformed, thousands of twinkle lights strung across the terrace. A trio of musicians softly tuning their instruments near the koi pond hors d'oeuvres plated like jewelry on polished trays. Olivia Prescott has spent months planning this evening. It's not a celebration, it's a campaign, a meticulously crafted exhibition of taste, elegance, and maternal poise. Everything from the floral arrangements to the guest list is designed to solidify her place on the state education board. Tonight, Olivia is not just a hostess. She is the brand. Vanessa arrives 3 hours earlier than usual, called in under the guise of needing help with Henry's bedtime routine. In truth, Olivia wants her nowhere near the guests once they arrive. Make sure he's presentable, Olivia says, not quite looking at her. Bow tie straight, no running, and no mess. Her words are clipped, her expression unreadable, as if rehearsing for a photograph she hasn't yet taken. Henry stands awkwardly in the corner of his room wearing a miniature tuxedo that itches his skin. His eyes are wide and damp, his hands fidgeting with the buttons on his sleeve. I don't like the shoes, he whispers. They're too shiny. I can't run in them. Vanessa kneels beside him, adjusting the cufflinks with a tenderness no one else ever sees. It's okay, she says gently, loosening the strap just a bit. I'll be nearby if you need me. He nods, only half comforted. Downstairs, the party unfurls in slow-motion splendor. A photographer drifts among the guests, capturing candid smiles and faux whispers. Olivia greets each arrival with the precision of a ballet master hug air kiss, compliment pose. Henry is introduced like a prop, my darling Henry. He's already reading at a second-grade level. We're very proud, he parrots the words she's taught him, eyes scanning the room for the one face that makes him feel safe. Vanessa isn't supposed to be there. She's instructed to wait in the service hallway until dinner ends, then quietly collect Henry for bed. But as the crowd swells and the speeches begin, the little boy slips away unnoticed, drawn by the one presence more powerful than the rules around him. He finds her by the side table holding a tray of empty glasses. Her gray uniform is buttoned to the collar, her hair pulled back tight. She doesn't see him at first, but then Mommy. The word cracks through the air like a snapped violin string. Heads turn. Conversations falter mid-sentence. A few guests smile, assuming it's a harmless slip. But Henry keeps going, weaving through the crowd with a half-eaten cookie in hand. I saved you one, he says, beaming. You like the chocolate ones best. Vanessa freezes, her hands tightening around the tray. She can feel the room shift like a stage light, snapping to full brightness. Dozens of eyes are on her. Her throat closes, but her expression remains calm, composed. Henry flings his arms around her waist, pressing his cheek to her stomach. She places a steady hand on his back. Thank you, sweetheart, she whispers, her voice barely audible over the silence. Across the room, Olivia's glass hovers midair, the champagne inside trembling with her grip. The photographer captures the moment, Henry's joyful smile, Vanessa's steady calm, Olivia's frozen fury. A society blogger near the bar raises her phone and whispers, Did that boy just call the nanny, Mommy? The silence doesn't last long. The music resumes, the guests pretend not to have noticed, and Olivia forces a brittle smile as she glides toward her son. But her eyes are locked on Vanessa, each step clicking like a countdown. When she reaches them, her voice drops to a hiss. Take him upstairs. Now. Vanessa nods gently, guiding Henry by the hand, his cookie still clutched in his other fist. As they disappear up the staircase, Olivia turns back to the crowd with a laugh too bright, too sharp. Kids and their imaginations, she says. He's always mixing things up. You know how it is. But the damage is done. Somewhere in the room, someone starts typing. Somewhere online, someone presses post. And somewhere deep inside Olivia Prescott, the first crack begins to form. Morning comes with the scent of espresso and lavender polish in the Prescott estate, but beneath the luxury is a tension no floral spray can cover. The staff walks quietly, eyes down, as if the marble floor might betray a secret. Olivia sits in her home office, back straight, lips pursed, a tablet in one hand, in a silence so sharp it cuts the room in half. On screen, a dozen headlines blink. Child of elite family calls nanny, Mommy, a moment of truth at the Prescott Gala. Photos, hashtags, reposts. It's everywhere. Olivia doesn't rage. She plans. By 8:45 a.m., Vanessa is summoned. The request comes through the estate manager formal sterile like a line item on a spreadsheet. She walks into the home office, still in uniform, eyes calm, back straight. Olivia doesn't rise to greet her. Vanessa, she begins her tone almost conversational. I've been reviewing the footage from last night. She swipes across her screen, not looking up. I think you'll understand why this has become problematic. Vanessa says nothing. She knows this script. She's lived versions of it before where gratitude becomes suspicion and affection is labeled overstepping. Olivia continues, voice steady but tight. I don't believe you taught him to say it. But perception is powerful, and unfortunately that moment has taken on a life of its own. I'm sure you understand. Vanessa meets her gaze for the first time. I understand, she says quietly. Will of course honor the rest of the month's salary, Olivia adds, as if generosity were being handed out. You'll receive a letter of recommendation, but we think it's best to transition out of the role by the end of the week. Vanessa doesn't flinch. Her voice is calm, almost warm. Of course, she turns to leave. And that's when the small voice cuts through the room, loud, clear, trembling. No. Henry standing at the door, his little fists clenched at his sides. You can't take her away. Olivia jolts. Henry, go back upstairs. I heard you, he shouts, tears streaming. You're firing her, but she's my mom. Silence floods the room like a dam breaking. The chef in the kitchen stops moving. The housekeeper steps out from behind a cabinet. No one speaks, but every eye says the same thing. We knew it. We always knew. Henry rushes to Vanessa, clinging to her legs, sobbing uncontrollably. I don't want a new mommy. I want her. Vanessa kneels, pulling him close. She doesn't cry. She can't. Instead, she brushes the hair from his forehead and whispers something only he can hear. You are loved. Always. Olivia stands motionless. For a flicker of a second, she's not the composed socialite. She's a woman unraveling. Vanessa gently pries Henry's fingers from her sleeve. He clutches harder. She does it again, tender, slow, like untangling a memory from a living thing. I'm not leaving because of you, she tells him, cupping his tear-streaked face. I'm leaving because sometimes love makes people afraid. And then she stands, straightens her uniform, walks out of the room. Henry's cries echo down the hall like thunder in a cathedral. Olivia doesn't follow. She can't. She knows something now that no damage control will fix. She has lost the one person her son called home. But not everything stays buried forever. The weeks after Vanessa leaves are marked not by rage or scandal, but by an eerie quiet. Olivia Prescott continues her routine as though nothing has happened. Interviews proceed. Press releases are drafted. Her wardrobe is rotated with seasonal precision. But something invisible has shifted in the walls of the estate. Henry barely speaks. He skips meals, drags his feet, and stares out of windows for hours, clutching a small drawing no one else sees. It's a crayon sketch, simple, uneven. Two stick figures holding hands. One big, one small. The words above them say Mommy V, the M scribbled over twice to make it darker, like he was trying to make it permanent. Meanwhile, far from the cold, curated perfection of the Prescott estate, life stirs in a different direction. Vanessa doesn't retreat. She doesn't crumble. Instead, she returns to the city she left behind, to the neighborhood where she once held 2 jobs and raised 5 foster kids on takeout meals and hand-me-downs. It's not glamorous. It's not easy. But it's real. And then one afternoon, the phone rings. She almost doesn't pick up. The number is unfamiliar. The voice on the other end is gentle, trembling slightly. Miss Vanessa Brooks. My name is Dr. Nia Thompson. I don't know if you remember me, but I remember you. Vanessa's breath catches. The name is familiar, distant, like music from another room. Nia, she says quietly. I was 7 when you took me in, the woman says. Back when everyone else said I had too many problems. You taught me to read. You told me I wasn't broken. Vanessa closes her eyes. I'm a pediatrician now, Nia continues, and I've been invited to speak at the National Summit on Childhood Equity. They asked me who changed my life. I told them about you, and they want you there, on stage, beside me. Vanessa doesn't answer right away. Her hand shakes. Her voice is a whisper. I wasn't trying to change a life. I was just trying to love someone the way my own child never got to be loved. Nia doesn't hesitate. You did. And now it's time the world hears your name. The summit hall is massive, clean-lined, federal, packed with educators, lawmakers, and media professionals. Vanessa stands backstage in a navy blue blouse, modest, neat, nothing expensive. Her hair is pinned back. She fidgets with a small, folded drawing tucked into her coat pocket. Mommy V. Henry's handwriting, still smudged from the day he gave it to her. The announcer calls their names. The crowd leans forward. Dr. Nia Thompson takes the podium first. Her voice is clear, calm. I was labeled a lost cause, she says. I had no parents, no support. I had anger, confusion, and fear. And then came Vanessa Brooks. The audience quiets. She read with me. She packed my lunch when the school forgot. She sat beside me when I had night terrors. She showed me how to believe in my own voice. Because of her, I graduated college. Because of her, I treat kids like me, kids the system forgot. She pauses, looks toward the wings. And she's here tonight, the spotlight swings. Vanessa steps forward. The applause is thunderous. But she doesn't raise her hands. She doesn't bow. She simply walks to the podium and places the drawing on it. Two stick figures, hand in hand. My name is Vanessa Brooks, she says quietly. I've been a nanny, a foster mom, a caregiver. And for the last 4 years, I loved a boy named Henry like he was my own. The room leans in, phones lift, cameras flash. I lost a child to illness years ago, and I never thought I'd mother again. But life gave me another chance. And this time I did it quietly, without titles, without praise, just with presence. She breathes in deeply, voice growing steady. When he called me mommy, I didn't correct him, because he knew. And that's all that mattered. She steps back. The silence lasts a second, then erupts into a standing ovation. Somewhere in that room, a journalist posts the headline, "Not just the help, Vanessa Brooks, the mother who raised a nation's children." But for Vanessa, it isn't about headlines. It's about truth. And the truth has finally found its voice. The news spreads faster than even Vanessa imagined. Within 24 hours, social media floods with a single phrase, Mommy V, a montage of Vanessa's summit speech. Nia's tearful introduction and the framed crayon drawing goes viral. The image of a quiet woman standing behind a child, lifting them with love alone, captures something people didn't even realize they were missing. Back in Connecticut, the Prescott estate is as polished as ever, but something within it feels brittle, hollow. Olivia stares at her tablet, watching Vanessa's speech through a lens she can't control. Comment after comment rolls in. She's what motherhood should be. I'd take her over any CEO, Mom. You can't fire love. Olivia closes the screen. For the first time in years, she doesn't know what to say in a meeting. Not to her husband, not to the foundation, and not to Henry. She walks into his room that afternoon unannounced. He's on the floor, not with the newest toy, but sitting quietly with a photo. It's the one of him and Vanessa. Not even a real photograph, just a laminated printout he begged the housekeeper to help him make before Vanessa left. Olivia stands in the doorway, watching her son trace the edge of the picture with one finger. Do you still think about her? She asks softly. Henry nods without looking up. Every night, Olivia doesn't move. She doesn't try to take the picture. For once, she doesn't try to fix what she broke. Her voice is small. She was good to you. Henry finally turns to her. His eyes are dry but direct. She didn't just do things for me. She saw me. Like all the time, even when I was mad or weird or scared. Olivia lowers herself to the carpet beside him. I'm sorry I didn't see that. He doesn't respond. But he leans slightly against her shoulder. It's not forgiveness. Not yet. But it's the beginning of something fragile, something real. Across the country, Vanessa opens the doors to a small community space in her old neighborhood. The building is nothing fancy, just brick and paint and a weather-worn ramp, but inside the walls are alive with color. There's a reading room with beanbags and soft blankets, an art station full of mismatched crayons, and a hallway filled with drawings by children who never had a place to hang their dreams. The sign outside reads "The Open Nest." Underneath, in smaller letters, founded by Vanessa Brooks. One afternoon, while Vanessa is sweeping up glitter from a craft spill, a staff member rushes in with a letter. No return address, just a simple handwritten note on ivory paper. I don't know if it's too late to be the kind of mother who listens, but if it's not, thank you for showing me how. Vanessa reads it 3 times. Then she folds it gently and pins it to the bulletin board beside a new drawing, a boy, a woman, and three birds flying in the sky. A few days later, a silver SUV pulls up across the street. Inside sits Henry, a little taller, a little quieter, clutching a small wooden box in his lap. "Do you think she'll remember me?" he whispers. His aunt, now his legal guardian, smiles. "She never forgot you, sweetheart. Some people stay in your heart forever." Henry doesn't get out of the car, but he steps to the window, opens it, and holds out a folded piece of paper. It floats onto the porch, caught in the breeze. Later that day, Vanessa finds it. It's a drawing, of course. Two figures again, stick figures, holding hands under a big red heart. Beneath it, the same bold handwriting as before Mommy vowed. I still remember the song. Love, Henry. Vanessa doesn't cry. She just presses the drawing to her chest and sits on the porch in the fading light, the hum of children playing echoing behind her. The world has finally seen her, not just for what she did, but for who she is. A mother. No title required. Sometimes the most powerful voices aren't the loudest. Sometimes they come from the back staircase, the bedtime routine the person never mentioned in the credits, but their love, quiet, consistent, real, becomes the very foundation of someone's entire life. Vanessa didn't ask to be called mother. She didn't wear it like a badge. She simply showed up, again and again. And in a world obsessed with appearances, she offered something far rarer: presence. This isn't just her story. It's a reminder to all of us that love, real love, leaves a mark no title can erase. That the people who see us at our smallest, who stay when it's hardest, are the ones who shape who we become. So if you've ever had a mommy V in your life, someone who saw you when no one else did, tell them, honor them, or be that person for someone else. Because in the end, the only legacy that truly matters is how we made someone feel when the world wasn't watching.